Google just made one of the most important AI infrastructure moves of the decade, and almost nobody is talking about it. It's not about models, it's not about chips, it's about power. And it might just decide who actually wins AI in 2026 and beyond. Alphabet just acquired Intersect Power for about $4.75 billion. And on the surface, Intersect is just a renewable energy developer, solar, storage, power projects. But this deal isn't about energy assets. It's about removing the single biggest bottleneck in AI infrastructure right now. Everyone thinks the AI race is limited by chips. It's not. The real constraint is electricity. In many parts of the US, getting new grid connections takes 5 to 7 years. That means you can have the money, you can have the chips, you can have the demand, and still not be able to turn on a data center. Alphabet just became the only hyperscaler with true end to end AI vertical integration. They control their own AI chips, their own software frameworks, their own foundation models like Gemini, their own cloud platform like Google Cloud, and now their own power generation. No other big tech company can say that. They have their own TPUs. They also own the software side, which is TensorFlow, JAX, Kubernetes, Vertex AI, and BigQuery. This means that their hardware and software are designed together. Their competitors stitch those things together. Google co designs everything. That's how their data centers now deliver multiple times more compute. All the Gemini models are trained entirely on this internal stack. That hardware and software co design keeps compounding, and over time, the models have just become better because the infrastructure just keeps getting insanely faster and better. Google Cloud is also growing faster than AWS and Microsoft Azure, not because demand was weak elsewhere, but because Google literally cannot build capacity fast enough. They exited last year with over $100 billion in backlog. They're supply constraint, not demand constraint. And this is exactly where the Intersect acquisition comes in. Instead of building data centers and then begging utilities for power, Google can now build power themselves, and they also have the compute together. Same site, same timeline, no waiting on the grid. That alone can shave years off deployment, and energy is roughly 40 to 50% of the data center operating costs. If you generate power at cost instead of buying it from other utilities, your margins will expand immediately. And every month of faster deployment is worth hundreds of millions of dollars in net present value when cloud demand is growing 30% year over year. Microsoft doesn't own power. Amazon doesn't own power. Meta doesn't own power. They're all fighting over the same grid bottleneck. Alphabet just bought its way out. More power leads to more data centers lead to more cloud revenue, and more revenue leads to more capital. And what does more capital lead to? More power. That flywheel compounds every year, and it's extremely hard to catch once it starts spinning. Google paid roughly $5 to $6 billion in enterprise value for a platform with $15 billion in energy assets, already operating or under development. That's not expensive, especially if you realize that this unlocks the ability to convert a 100 billion plus cloud backlog into actual revenue much faster. Energy projects have execution risk, permitting risk, commodity risk, but those risks are manageable and far smaller than the strategic risk of being stuck waiting on the grid while AI demand explodes. For years, the AI race was framed as chips versus chips. But over the next 5 years, it's become clear that it's power versus power. And Google just became the only company that controls every layer of the AI stack, from the silicon all the way to the electrons. That's not just an infrastructure advantage, that's a structural one, and one that's worth a lot more than $4.7 billion.